one of the biggest things I've seen in agreements that I've come in after the fact to either review or fix is not sufficiently defining like net versus gross in terms of how people are getting paid. I mean, it can be as simple as that. You need to be very explicit about how the compensation is working out. And you can go from general, such as that, to like real nitty gritty. People need to think about, and this goes back to your question, like, how does that past experience help?
Uh-huh.
Past experience helps in the sense that you understand how cannabis is actually sold throughout the supply chain. You understand that when bulk cannabis is sold, it's not usually all the same grade. So what happens if you just have one blanket royalty for that entire batch? Do you want to pay 10% for, they basically do grades like A, B, and C nugs, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you want to be paying the same amount for the C as you are the A? You need to be thinking through this stuff. I mean, you can get away with a single rate for like finished goods, but if you're talking about like bulk flour, for example,
Uh-huh.
you need to be thinking about how are we going to pay, on both ends of it for that. Another biggie too is just, or I'll give you two more. Exclusivity. Um, how I can see this completely blowing up in everybody's faces is, a brand blows up doing really well, and then producer processor gets a little bit squirrely about ownership. Oh, I thought the deal was that I was going to have 20% of the brand in addition to the 10% you're paying me per product, whatever.
Mhm.
So it'd be very specific as to exclusivity. And when you're talking about a market that is self-contained as far as limited to the state of New York, you need to be as explicit as, is it the entire state of New York? Is it only Rochester? It's just, and you can even narrow it down to like channels, types of products. You can make it performance based. All of these things need to be thought of. And honestly, going back to it, the due diligence you do into this operator determines who has the bargaining power here,
Yeah.
and whether or not you feel comfortable giving any level of exclusivity. If you have doubts if they're going to deliver, but you feel comfortable enough to move forward, this sort of calculus informs the risk that you take within a deal. And the last thing is just approvals. Like packaging and labeling approvals are like the low hanging fruit here in terms of where this can all blow up. Approvals should not be done in like scattered emails. You should have a delineated process that can be audited and tracked in terms of approvals, the whole nine, and how that all works out.